Which sign will dominate Libra's destiny? The opening of destiny. Have you ever felt that the universe is trying to warn you about something but in a silent, almost invisible way? As if hidden forces were weaving threads around you, guiding you towards someone specific, a sign that has the power to completely change the course of your existence. Libra, the sign of perfect balance, harmony, and justice. But what if I revealed to you that there is a sign with the power to completely dominate your destiny? A sign capable of guiding your paths through the most intense love, the deepest pain, and the most radical transformation. Today you will discover the truth that few dare to reveal. Who really holds the invisible reins of Libra's destiny, and why this answer goes far beyond any birth chart you've ever seen. Prepare to enter a universe where the invisible finally reveals itself. Welcome to the portal of ancestral energies, where each sign carries cosmic power, and Libra, even being the ultimate symbol of harmony, holds within one of the most obscure and fascinating mysteries of the entire zodiac. The eternal search for a balance that never seems to complete itself. But this journey doesn't happen alone. There is a sign that intertwines with Libra's destiny like an eternal shadow, like a mirror that reflects both light and darkness. The sign that awakens the best in you, also your greatest fears and challenges. And today, this mystery will be revealed. The answers you're about to hear can forever transform how you see your relationships, your most difficult choices, and even your spiritual purpose in this life. Many believe that Libra is just the sign of romantic love, superficial beauty, and the search for justice. But few can see what really hides behind that diplomatic smile and that serene appearance. Libra carries an ancestral soul, a soul that has crossed many lives trying to restore a balance that was lost ages ago, in times that not even memory can reach. Libra wasn't born to live in peace. Libra was born to seek peace where it doesn't exist. And it's exactly in this relentless search that destiny weaves an invisible thread, a thread of cosmic silver that connects Libra to another sign. A sign that dominates, that provokes, that challenges, that teaches the most painful and most liberating lessons. This is not coincidence. It never was. It's pure destiny. I am the guardian of this ancestral knowledge, and today we will dive together into one of the most hidden and powerful secrets of mystical astrology. Which sign really dominates Libra's destiny? Watch this video until the end, because the last secret I'm going to reveal is the most important piece of all. The revelation that connects the spiritual plane, the karmic plane, and the emotional plane into one devastating truth. Before we begin this cosmic journey, subscribe now to the channel, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any revelation, and leave your comment with this powerful phrase, "I let destiny guide me," by writing these words. You tune your energy to the frequency of universal balance, and nothing can prevent the universe from showing you exactly what you need to see. Take a deep breath, calm your mind, open your heart. Let's begin the journey through the portals of destiny. The signs have been written in the stars for millennia, waiting for you to finally be ready to understand them. Libra, your true destiny begins now. The first signs of destiny, the call of Gemini, the reflection that awakens chaos. Libra and Gemini. To signs governed by the same celestial force, by the same cosmic master, Mercury, the messenger of the gods, the one who transits between worlds and carries messages from the divine. But while Gemini lives immersed in absolute mental chaos, in the frantic dance of communication and thought that never rests, Libra desperately tries to organize every feeling, every emotion, every thought that crosses their mind. When these two signs cross in the fabric of destiny, something deep and dangerous ignites. Libra sees in Gemini the freedom they always wanted to have but never had the courage to reach. The ability to change, to transform, to not be tied to anything or anyone. And Gemini, in turn, sees in Libra that hypnotic calmness they could never find within themselves. The peace they always sought, always escaped through their restless fingers. What seems to be perfect harmony at first sight soon reveals itself as an extremely dangerous mirror. It's as if Libra looks at Gemini and sees their own indecision reflected in 1,000 pieces of shattered glass, each fragment showing a different possibility, a different path, a different choice. And Libra gets lost in this infinite reflection. On the deepest spiritual plane, this connection between Libra and Gemini awakens the first sacred warning of destiny. Not all balance is born from calmness and serenity. Sometimes, true balance only emerges from absolute chaos, from that moment of destruction that forces you to finally find yourself among the rubble. Gemini dominates Libra's destiny through incessant thought. They confuse, teach cruel lessons, provoke the worst doubts. It's that insistent inner voice that whispers in the middle of the night. What if you're completely wrong about everything? What if all your choices have been failures? And this devastating doubt, Libra, is the dimensional portal to your true spiritual awakening. Gemini forces Libra to question everything they always believed to be unquestionable truth. And in this painful questioning, a new consciousness is born. The temptation of Scorpio, the abyss of forbidden emotions, but there is a second sign that touches Libra's destiny in an even deeper, more visceral, more transformative way. Scorpio, while Libra floats slightly between infinite choices, trying to maintain lightness and diplomacy in everything, Scorpio arrives like a silent storm from the depths of the cosmic ocean. They don't ask for permission, they simply invade. Scorpio wants to dive exactly where Libra is most afraid to sink, into the most intense emotions, the rawest and most painful truths, the most forbidden and repressed desires. The connection between Libra and Scorpio is like an eternal dance between the brightest light and the deepest shadow, a hypnotic waltz between the conscious and the unconscious. Scorpio dominates Libra not through the mind or reason, but through pure and devastating emotional intensity. They force Libra to truly feel what they always tried to only understand in a rational and distant way. And on the highest spiritual plane, this relationship symbolizes the transformative encounter with the mirror of the soul itself. What you try to avoid feeling, what you bury deep within your being, the universe brings back through someone. Through a Scorpio who will force you to confront every shadow, every fear, every hidden desire. Scorpio teaches Libra a devastating but essential lesson. Love without real depth is completely empty, and harmony without absolute truth is just a beautiful lie you tell yourself. It's the sign that pulls Libra to the bottom of the emotional ocean, not to drown, but to completely transform who you are. It's a baptism of fire and water, a symbolic death followed by a rebirth. And in this dive into the abyss, Libra finally begins to perceive a terrifying truth. Your destiny will never be decided by cold reason or impeccable logic, but by the deep and primitive emotions you always tried to hide, control, and deny. Scorpio breaks all the masks that Libra uses to protect themselves from the world. And the moment those masks fall, true transformation begins. The first signs of destiny have been revealed. Gemini brought the mental chaos that awakens consciousness. Scorpio brought the emotional abyss that transforms the soul, but the journey is just beginning. In the next chapter, Libra will face the third and fourth sacred signs of destiny, where true love and ancestral karma finally intertwine irreversibly. And that's where the true cosmic dominion will begin to reveal itself in all its magnitude. The judgment of love and the karmic bond, the awakening of Aries, the fire that breaks the balance. Libra and Aries are perfect opposites in the great zodiacal circle, separated by 180 degrees of pure cosmic polarity. But it's exactly in this mirror of opposites that destiny writes one of the most powerful, most magnetic, and most transformative bonds in all the cosmos. While Libra incessantly seeks perfect harmony, Aries seeks only one thing: absolute victory. Libra wants to understand every detail, every nuance, every perspective before acting. Aries doesn't think, doesn't ponder, doesn't balance anything. They simply act with all the force of primordial fire. And it's exactly in this devastating collision of opposite energies that the universe provokes Libra to make an impossible choice. A choice between the comfortable peace they've always known and the brutal courage they've never had. Aries dominates Libra's destiny through the sacred fire that burns all doubts, all indecision, all social masks. The flame that consumes the false and reveals the true self that was hidden under layers of diplomacy and external approval. Aries doesn't wait for anyone, doesn't ponder consequences, doesn't seek balance before throwing themselves into the abyss. They are pure divine impulse, pure action, pure life. And spiritually, this intense connection represents the sacred moment when Libra's soul needs to stop pleasing the entire world to finally begin to truly exist. True harmony is not born from the total absence of conflict, but from the devastating courage to face it head-on, without running, without negotiating, without seeking the middle ground. Aries appears in Libra's life as that encounter that changes absolutely everything forever. The person who awakens an overwhelming passion, but who also brings the most intense confrontation you've ever lived. The partner who challenges every belief you had about love, who questions every pattern you blindly followed, but who at the same time inspires you to become the best version of yourself. The mirror of fire that forces Libra to finally choose their own destiny instead of letting others choose for you. It's as if Aries were the sacred fire that completely burns that old bridge, that bridge you always used to run back to the safe place where you hid from yourself. Aries burns that bridge to ash, and you can never go back. It's the violent awakening of the inner strength you didn't even know you had. It's the primitive call of the purest instinct that society tried to suffocate in you since childhood. It's the painful, but liberating birth of true spiritual autonomy. And when Libra finally accepts this fire energy, when they stop resisting and surrender to the sacred impulse, the entire universe moves in their favor in ways that seem miraculous. Doors open, paths emerge, destiny flows. The law of Capricorn, the weight of destiny, and the test of time. But after the wildfire of Aries burns everything, something even more powerful and more difficult comes the immovable stone. Capricorn enters Libra's path as the definitive test of time, as the final test of spiritual maturity. The sign that represents the accumulated karma of past lives, the structure that sustains or destroys everything, and the inevitable harvest of every seed you planted. While Libra poetically dreams of harmony and beauty, Capricorn asks a brutal and direct question. Are you truly willing to pay the very high price for this harmony you seek so much? Do you have the necessary discipline to build something that withstands time? Or will you give up at the first real difficulty? Capricorn dominates Libra through relentless emotional discipline and absolute spiritual responsibility. They teach a truth that few want to accept. Destiny is not simply what happens to you randomly. Destiny is what you build brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day, even when no one is watching. For Libra, this connection with Capricorn is like walking barefoot on thin ice in the middle of a frozen lake. Each step requires perfect balance, infinite patience, and absolute truth with yourself. One false step, and you sink into the icy waters of failure. Spiritually, this is the crucial moment when Libra is placed face to face with their own ancestral karmic mirror. Capricorn reveals relentlessly that every superficial decision you made in the past generated a severe imbalance in your destiny. That every time you chose to please others instead of being true to yourself, you accumulated a spiritual debt. And now that debt needs to be paid. Capricorn shows that true and lasting harmony can only exist when there is real commitment. Not just beautiful words or vague intentions, but true commitment. Commitment to the other, but mainly unwavering commitment to yourself. It's the symbolic encounter of the delicate scale with the immovable mountain. The lightness that needs to learn about the real weight of things. The beauty that needs to understand that without solid structure, it disappears with the first strong wind. And Capricorn, in their wise and ancestral silence, teaches Libra that even the purest and truest love needs strong foundations and constant discipline. Because without structure, without real commitment, without responsibility, it inevitably collapses under the relentless wind of time. The fire of Aries gave you courage to begin. The stone of Capricorn teaches you to sustain what you began. Libra, destiny is molding you between two absolute poles, between impulse and discipline, between beginning and permanence, between passion and responsibility. One teaches you to act without fear, the other forces you to sustain your choices until the end. And when these two poles finally balance within you, when you master both fire and stone, the universe whispers an ancestral secret. Now you are truly ready to discover who really dominates your destiny in its deepest essence. The journey continues, the mysteries deepen, and Libra's destiny is about to be revealed in its totality. The invisible chains of destiny number hash the call of Pisces, the abyss of connected souls. Pisces ... the sign that sees what no one else can see. The sign that lives between dimensions, that walks between the physical world and the spiritual world as if they were the same thing. When Pisces crosses Libra's path, something extremely ancient awakens in the depths of the soul. A strange and familiar sensation at the same time. A powerful déjà vu that makes you feel you've lived this exact encounter in another life, in another time, in another dimension. As if your souls have known each other for millennia. Pisces dominates Libra in a completely different way from all other signs. Not through the brilliant mind like Gemini does. Not through intense passion like Scorpio provokes. Not through devastating fire like Aries ignites. Pisces dominates Libra directly through the soul. Through the purest and most vulnerable essence of being. It's as if their spiritual energies dissolved into each other, creating a bond impossible to explain with words or logic. A cosmic fusion that transcends any rational understanding. This connection represents the deepest and most mysterious karmic bond that exists in Libra's destiny. It's an encounter that crosses the veil of time and space. Pisces teaches Libra something that goes against all their nature, to surrender completely without measuring consequences, to trust blindly without guarantees, to feel without trying to control or understand. It's an invitation to dive into the infinite ocean of emotions without a map, without a compass, without a life jacket. But this mystical surrender also places Libra before a devastating existential risk. The risk of completely losing themselves in the other's emotion, of dissolving their own identity in the attempt to merge with another soul. Spiritual love has the power to heal the deepest wounds of the soul ... But it also has the power to completely consume who you are if you don't know where your boundaries end and the others begin. Metaphorically, Pisces is the infinite cosmic ocean where Libra desperately dives searching for answers to questions they can't even formulate. And it's in the depths of this ocean that Libra finally discovers a transcendental truth. Some answers can only be found when the mind finally becomes silent. When thought stops, when analysis ceases, when you simply feel and trust in the invisible flow of the universe. It's an encounter that may seem absolutely magical at first sight, full of impossible synchronicities and moments that seem touched by the divine hand. But it hides extremely painful lessons about true surrender, empathy without limits, and the crucial need to maintain your individuality even in the deepest union. Pisces is the mystical mirror of the soul that shows Libra what it means to truly love without demanding balance, without asking for reciprocity, without calculating who gives more or who receives less. And it's in this complete and dangerous surrender that destiny moves silently behind the scenes, weaving invisible threads that will only be understood much later. # the enigma of Aquarius, the wind of freedom and the awakening of consciousness after sinking into the deep and mysterious waters of Pisces. After almost losing themselves in the ocean of collective emotions, Libra finally encounters Aquarius, the sign of rarefied air, of the absolutely free mind, of the visionary spirit that sees the future while everyone still lives trapped in the past. Aquarius arrives like a gale of changes, like a tornado that lifts you off the ground and shows you there's a sky far vaster than you ever imagined. Aquarius doesn't promise eternal love like in fairy tales. They don't promise security, stability, or predictability. Aquarius promises something far more precious and far more terrifying at the same time: absolute freedom. And it's exactly this that makes them simultaneously irresistible and extremely dangerous for Libra. They awaken in Libra a deep and repressed desire to break all social rules, to think in a completely different way, to live something that completely transcends the common and conventional, something that society would never approve, something that challenges all expectation. But Aquarius also teaches the liberating and painful lesson that love without true freedom inevitably transforms into a golden prison, into beautiful but oppressive cages. Aquarius dominates Libra through expanded intellect and the completely awakened soul. They blow revolutionary winds over the delicate scale, making Libra question absolutely everything they always accepted as unquestionable truth. What really is justice when laws are unjust? What really is destiny when we have free will? What really is love when we remove all the social conventions that define it? True balance can only be born when the soul doesn't depend absolutely on anyone to exist, to feel complete, to feel alive. Spiritually, Aquarius represents the revolutionary rebirth of Libra's mind. The sacred moment when consciousness expands beyond all previous limitations, and destiny finally begins to be drawn from the inside out instead of being imposed from outside in. It's the sign that frees Libra from the invisible chains of the past, from repetitive ancestral patterns, from romantic illusions that only cause suffering, and from emotional dependence that imprisons the soul. Metaphorically, Aquarius is the cosmic wind that extinguishes the old flames that no longer serve, so that new stars can finally shine in Libra's internal sky. And when Libra finally understands this liberating lesson in its deepest essence, something fundamental changes forever. The perception that destiny is no longer in other people's hands, is no longer hostage to external circumstances, but rather in the delicate and powerful balance between true love and absolute freedom that exists within yourself. Libra, destiny has already shown you mental chaos through Gemini, showed you the emotional abyss through Scorpio, showed you transforming fire through Aries, showed you karmic discipline through Capricorn, showed you spiritual fusion through Pisces, showed you revolutionary freedom through Aquarius. But the final revelation is still missing, the one that unites all these paths into one devastating truth. The sign that doesn't just temporarily dominate your destiny, but awakens your ancestral soul to fulfill the mission you brought this time on Earth. The answer is near, the veil is about to fall, and nothing will be the same again. The final revelation, the sign that dominates Libra's destiny, everything that balance fears, destiny inevitably attracts. The shadow and light of Aries, the true dominator of Libra's destiny throughout this entire cosmic journey. Libra has relentlessly sought perfect harmony in every relationship, in every encounter, in every choice. But the universe always responded with conflict, with challenges, with trials that seemed unjust. Libra sought lightness, softness, peace, and found devastating intensity, emotional weight, internal battles. They look for answers in others, in partners, in external connection, and completely forgot to look within, at the sacred fire that burns silently inside their own chest. But there is a sign that always appears in every cycle, in every new beginning. In the most difficult trials, in the impossible loves that transform, in the painful new starts, in the devastating falls followed by glorious rebirths. A sign that represents the perfect opposite of Libra and, paradoxically, at the same time, their most absolute and necessary complement. Aries, the first sign of the sacred zodiac, the beginning of the eternal wheel of life, the primordial fire that ignites all movement in the universe, the cosmic warrior who fears nothing. Libra is the seventh sign, the exact midpoint of the zodiacal journey, the delicate balance between the two sides of existence, the air that desperately seeks connection and harmony. But here is the ancestral secret that few understand. Fire needs air to stay alive, to expand, to grow into ever larger flames. And air needs fire to have direction, purpose, warmth, to not be just an empty wind wandering without destiny. That's why Libra and Aries are not just opposites in the astrological chart. They are two halves of the same cosmic learning, two faces of the same divine coin, to souls that came to complete a mission together. What Aries begins with courage and impulse, Libra completes with balance and diplomacy. What Libra dreams with beauty and harmony, Aries realizes with action and determination. Spiritually, Aries dominates Libra's destiny because they represent the most powerful and most necessary karmic mirror of true balance. They are the one who forces Libra to finally act instead of just thinking, to choose instead of remaining eternally paralyzed in doubt, to fully live what they feel instead of coldly calculating every consequence, without paralyzing fear of rejection, of error, of others' judgment, or of loneliness. Aries is the supreme challenge that the universe strategically places in Libra's path to break once and for all the vicious cycle of eternal indecision. The repetitive pattern of letting life pass by while weighing pros and cons infinitely. Metaphorically, it's as if Aries' sacred fire mercilessly burned all of Libra's superficial doubts, all the accumulated insecurity, all the irrational fears. And in the midst of the ashes of this purified burn, reveals the pure gold of the soul that always existed beneath all the social masks. While all other signs touch only specific parts of Libra's destiny, isolated aspects of the journey, Aries is the only sign that completely dominates them. Because they simultaneously awaken the necessary movement, the dormant inner power, and the brutal courage that Libra keeps in absolute silence at the bottom of their heart. Aries is the divine spark that awakens Libra from the deep sleep of comfortable neutrality. They didn't come to calm you, to comfort you, to tell you everything is okay. They came to completely set you on fire, to burn everything that is false, to force you to be reborn from your own ashes. And it's exactly in this transforming fire, in this baptism of flames, that you finally discover who you really are beneath all social expectation. When Libra finally stops resisting and accepts the necessary dominion of Aries, when they embrace the fire instead of fearing it, something miraculous happens. The entire universe finally balances. The confused mind finds clear purpose and defined direction. Hesitant love gains true courage and uncheckable determination. And destiny, which always seemed like an uncontrollable external force, finally fulfills itself in the most perfect way possible. True and lasting harmony is not the complete absence of the burning fire. It's the conscious mastery of it. It's the sacred dance between flame and air. Libra, your destiny was never really in other people's hands. It was never in the hands of chance, luck, or bad luck. It has always been kept in the sacred flame that burns within you since the beginning of time. The fire of Aries that you feared, that you avoided, that you tried to extinguish or control. As long as there is paralyzing doubt, as long as there is fear of acting, as long as there is eternal indecision, the universe will continue sending you the powerful mirror of Aries to remind you again and again until you finally understand. You were born to balance the entire world, to bring harmony where there is chaos, to create beauty where there is desolation. But before doing that out there, you need to balance the fire and air within yourself. You need to master Aries' courage and Libra's diplomacy simultaneously. You need to be both the warrior and the peacemaker at the same time. And when you finally manage to do this, when these two apparently opposite forces dance in harmony within your being, no one will have any power to dominate your destiny anymore. Because it will finally, definitively, be completely yours. The mystery has been revealed. The veil has fallen. The truth has shown itself. Aries is the sign that dominates Libra's destiny because they are the only one capable of awakening the dormant power you always had, but never believed you possessed. And now that you know this, the question that remains is, what are you going to do with this sacred knowledge? Will you continue resisting the fire, or will you finally embrace it and become who you were always destined to be? The awakening of Libra's destiny was never a prison. It was never an immutable sentence written in the stars without the possibility of change. Destiny is a sacred map drawn by invisible forces that love you more than you can comprehend. And every encounter that crosses your path, Libra, every painful loss that shatters you, every intense love that transforms everything is part of this absolutely perfect cosmic design. For ages and ages, through countless lives and reincarnations, you sought harmony in others. You tried to balance broken hearts, save impossible loves, appease wars that weren't even yours. You believed your purpose was to be the bridge between opposites, the eternal mediator of others' conflicts. But true balance, the one that frees the soul and fulfills destiny, was never on the outside. It has always inhabited the deep silence within you, patiently waiting for you to finally look inside. Aries came to remind you of exactly that. They are not an accident on your path, not a cosmic coincidence. They burn all the illusions that kept you trapped in the role of eternally pleasing. They force you to walk on your own legs, even when the path is steep and lonely. They make you look up and realize that the sky is not an insurmountable limit, but a mirror of the infinite vastness of your own soul. Libra, destiny chose you not to please the entire world and forget yourself. It chose you to reveal the transforming power of your most authentic truth, to show the world that real harmony doesn't come from avoiding conflicts, but from having the courage to face them with integrity. When Libra finally understands Aries' deep lesson, when they stop resisting the fire and learn to dance with it, something fundamental transforms. The mind stops seeking external approval as a source of value, and the heart finally begins to guide the steps with unshakable confidence. Balance stops being just appearance, social mask, performance for others, and becomes real consciousness, lived truth, radiant authenticity. In this sacred instant of awakening, Libra is no longer the sign eternally tormented by paralyzing doubts. They transform into the sign of conscious awakening, of powerful choice, of action aligned with purpose. What before seemed fragility and indecision reveals itself as light waiting for the right moment to shine. What before seemed fear of confrontation transforms into unshakable faith in the divine process, and what before seemed destiny controlled by external forces reveals itself as conscious choice and sacred free will. The universe always bows before those who have true courage to live their deepest truth, without asking permission, without seeking approval, without negotiating their essence. Libra, your sacred destiny is to be the living mirror of divine beauty here on earth, to show that harmony and strength can coexist in the same being, that diplomacy and courage are not opposites, but powerful allies, that true love includes healthy boundaries, not just blind surrender. And if Aries dominates your path so intensely and transformatively, it's only to guide you back to your own forgotten essence, to the supreme harmony that is born when body, mind, soul, and spirit finally dance in the same sacred rhythm. So take a deep breath now, close your eyes for a moment, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself with total honesty, who is really guiding my destiny at this moment in my life? The paralyzing fear of making mistakes and displeasing others ... or the liberating truth of who I really am. The answer that emerges from this inner silence will show you exactly where you are on the journey of awakening. And if you haven't reached where you want to be yet, don't despair. The fire of Aries continues burning within you, patiently waiting for you to have the courage to feed it. If you're a Libra, or if an Aries has already crossed your path in a transformative and unforgettable way, leave your comment down here now. Write with all the strength of your heart, I accept my destiny. By writing these powerful words publicly, you declare to the entire universe that you're ready for the next level of the journey. And if this message deeply touched your soul, if you felt that every word was written especially for you, leave your sacred like on this video. Subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell, because in the upcoming videos we're going to reveal even deeper secrets. We're going to unveil who dominates Scorpio's destiny, the most mysterious and powerful sign of the zodiac. We're going to dive into the hidden secrets of each sign, revealing truths that traditional astrology never had the courage to expose. Share this video with that Libra friend who desperately needs to hear this message. Or with that Aries who entered your life and turned everything upside down. Knowledge only has real power when it's shared and lived. Until the next video, may the universe illuminate your path and show you exactly the direction of your own inner light. May you have courage to be who you really are, without fear, without guilt, without shame. And may the sacred fire of Aries burn everything that no longer serves, revealing the pure gold of your immortal soul. I believe in you. The universe believes in you, and the time has come for you to finally believe in yourself. See you soon, soul on a journey. Namaste.